All right, guys. So, first off, thank you for being here. You fought off all the large crowd and all the parking spot problems, and you guys made it here on time, and it was rough. I know. Really had a hard time finding places to sit, so you guys did a great job filing in an appropriate time frame. For those I can't see. Yeah. So anyway, so this is our open house. We used to call it a kickoff. We're calling it an open house because words matter. And so it's an informational presentation on what the 6-week nutrition challenge is going to be about. Not necessarily the makeup or structure, because it's completely different for all of you that will sign up for it. Gabe's nutrition challenge is going to be different from Nate's, which is going to be different from Elizabeth's or Cam's or anything like that. So this is just information that we're going to give to everybody, and then they can make the decision as to whether or not it's something that they want to invest time and money in to help them reach their goals. I wouldn't say faster, just better in an honest way. So let's get into it. I got 2 keyboards, and I'm going to get confused on which one I'm going to be using. Yep. 6 areas of focus. This is what we're going to be focusing on during the nutrition challenge, the 6 weeks. We have nutrition, mindset, lifestyle, sleep, support system, which is super important, and exercise. So nutrition, proper nutrition, it's the foundation of health, focused on balanced meals with whole foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains to boost energy and well-being. It's literally the building block of what we do with regards to wellness, nutrition, exercise. Everything that we do inside this gym starts with healthy nutrition. The hierarchy of an athlete that CrossFit puts out, the base layer, think of the food pyramid, right? When we were a kid, food pyramid, that at the bottom, I think, was sugar, the most important thing that the government told you to eat. Here, the most important thing that CrossFit tells you, that we teach and train, the most important thing is nutrition. Not how strong you are, not how fast you move, not how well you move. It's nutrition. Everything is built upon nutrition. So we focus heavily on that. Mindset. Managing stress is key for health. It's difficult. It's difficult to do that, but knowing how and learning tips and tricks on how to manage mindset and stress is important, and we'll dive into that. And it only helps to enhance your physical and mental well-being. Lifestyle. The whole point and what we really hone in on with our nutrition program is habit-based. It's building good habits. It's building a solid balance of habits and lifestyle to where you can take your goals and then the habits that we'll create with you into actionable, actual, attainable goals at the end of this. And it all starts with creating good, healthy habits. And we'll get into that again in just a little bit. Sleep, quality sleep, it's vital. It's not only vital for recovery, but building strength and mental health as well. You don't get enough sleep, you feel like shit. Anyone that tells you they can survive off 2 hours a night is lying to themselves and you. I was one of those people. I was lying to myself. You need more than 2 hours, preferably 7+. And you have to prioritize it. It's hard. And we'll talk about tips and tricks on how to prioritize and get a sleep routine. Support system. A strong support system enhances your health journey. Building a network of family, friends, and community for encouragement and accountability can only help you succeed with nutrition and physical exercise, and building the habit of doing that. And then exercise. Regular exercise is essential. It's essential for life. It's essential for longevity. It's essential for quality of life. Finding an exercise routine, CrossFit, that works for you, so you can keep active, so you can stay active, and so you can be an asset to your family instead of a liability, is a huge goal for us inside of here. So objectives. We have specific objectives that we work through with regards to all those 6 pieces that we focus on during the nutrition challenge. First one is, let me go back. First one is nutrition. The objective is to plan and prepare balanced meals. Chas is printing off handouts that we're going to give you guys that really centers in and hones in what the zone diet is and why CrossFit uses it and why we use it and why we ask if you have honest goals with yourself that a zone diet will help. It's not to replace something you already do. If you already have a good handle on your nutrition and your nutrients and how much you get, blocks, and how much protein and carbs and fats you have, great. We'll build habits to keep that focus for you moving through this. Exercise, an objective is to incorporate at least 45 minutes of exercise a day, preferably an hour CrossFit class. But we all know that life comes into play, and some days you don't get into the gym. Some days all of your kids are crying at the same time, and you need to be home. Get something at least 45 minutes of movement, elevated heart rate, something where you can build up a sweat during the day. And that's really, if we can do that 3 times a week, we're starting on creating healthy habits, preferably if we can get up to the 3, 4, 5 days a week with incorporated rest days there. Sleep, 7+ hours. Really, the plus side, 8 hours is what we're looking for in order to regenerate and to get that body ready to move again the next day and process all the nutrients that you've eaten in that day. Support system. Create a support system. Find a support system. We're not all lucky to have family that support our efforts inside the gym or our efforts in eating nutritious food, whole foods. Not everybody has a supportive family. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means it's difficult. If it's your family, great. Bring your family into this program. Bring them into creating habits as well along with you and utilize them as your support system. If you don't have that, friends, gym members, coworkers, anybody you can have to create an accountability buddy, the people sitting here will help to keep you moving forward instead of getting stagnant and fall back. What we don't want is to have a rough day. We don't have anybody to bounce that stress off of. We don't have anybody to communicate with, and you fall back on that bad day, and then you just let all your work go out the window. We want to keep moving forward. So help or find a support system and then help others be their support system as well. Mindset, positive thinking. As stupid as this sounds, and I hate the way this sounds because I'm not a granola crunchy type person, but self-positive affirmations every day help. And it doesn't mean you're Stuart Smalley. Anybody? Saturday Night Live? I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. It doesn't have to be that. It can be something as simple as not saying you're an idiot anymore, not saying you're a piece of shit, not saying you're a dumbass, all of that. Changing that words into saying, I can do this. I can come to the gym. I can eat apples. I can eat vegetables. Positive affirmations a day. What we're going to focus on during the challenge is spending 10 to 15 minutes of journaling each day of the challenge, but really focusing in on writing conversationally, not bullet points. If you and I were having a conversation, Dawn, and you were telling me the good things that happened to your day, the challenging things that happened during your day, you wouldn't tell me 7 hours of sleep, 130 ounces of water, vegetables. You would say, you know what I did today? First, I started my day with 8 hours of sleep. That's how I want the journaling to be. Putting pen to paper helps a lot, and it's helped me grow personally through a lot of stuff that we've done inside the gym. So we'll focus in on that. Lifestyle, establishing a consistent daily routine. Again, comes back to those habits that we're going to create through that process. What we're going to look at moving forward is how we're going to assess those. So nutrition, how we assess nutrition with inside this challenge. Food diary. Track food. Track liquids. Track cheat meals. Track days where we fall off and we start our day with a glass of wine instead of a glass of water. Track all that because it helps us with honesty. It helps us to understand the importance of our goals and how our choices can counteract that goal. Chas and I used to use an app, MyFitnessPal. Anybody use MyFitnessPal before? Yeah, it helps track your food. It helps track your macros. It helps track your food intake. You can pretty much put anything inside MyFitnessPal and it will break down the nutrients of that food. Yeah, it's a tool. It is not for religious people, it's not a Bible, okay? It is a tool to use. Find something that works well for you. It might just be pen and paper, and you write down everything that you've eaten. It's difficult, but consistency will matter. Mindset, again, journaling, pen to paper, not on your phone, not in notes, not voice memo, pen to paper. There is something about taking your pen, writing words on paper that helps reinforce the importance of what you're writing down. iPhones, whatever the other kind of phones are that people have these days, do not work for that. So pen to paper. Record daily reflections, what happened well, what didn't go well. Write down a positive affirmation. And then something else you can think about doing is gratitude entries. Something you're happy with regards to your life, your support system, your family, friends, anything. Doesn't even have to be related to anything that we're going to be talking about. It can be any type of gratitude reflection. And then what we're also going to do during the challenge is we are going to ask that, Cam, will you hand these out? Every day, or as often as you can, which you all can do it every day, it's whether you want to do it or not, spoiler alert, fill out this simple mindset questionnaire. All it is a snapshot of you right then and there, that day, how you're feeling, how it's working or not working, and then just tally up the score. We're going to use this to plot a graph and just to show you something tangible with regards to mindset during this 6-week challenge. It's a simple tool. If it's not every day, as often as you can. The more data, the better idea the better information you'll receive as to where you're at mentally inside this 6-week challenge. So pass this out as well, and then just fill it out right now with regards to where you're at exactly in this moment. Doesn't have to be thoughtful. It can be as simple as, well, it's either a 1 or a 2. Guess what? It's probably a 1. And if there's spelling errors in there, come later and talk to me and tell me how stupid I am. Yeah, fill it out now. Huh? It is. Yeah. Yeah, fill it out real quick right now. It shouldn't take too long. It should just take a few seconds. 5 is good. 1 is not as good. And that's okay. We'll talk about it. So leave it blank. Yeah. Strongly disagree. Neutral. Don't care. But what this is going to do, again, it's just a self-assessment tool. Just like MyFitnessPal, just like your support system, it's a tool to help you see where you're at every single day inside the 6-week challenge. As you're finishing this, again, don't look too much into it, just a quick snapshot of where you're at today. I know some of the sleep has to do with last night. Just think really quickly about how much sleep, quality sleep. Obviously, none of you are probably journaling. Some of you might be. And as it pertains to you right now. Did you? Nice job, buddy. Are they still asleep? Yeah. Good. All 5s, Gabe? Do I? 2. No, I do not. There's no like, if you scored, how many is there? 6? If you scored 6, there's no, I'm not going to give you a scale of, well, you aren't doing very well. This is just, and I'm not going to give you a scale of, man, you are perfect. You are doing fantastic. There you go. This is just a tool. This is just something for you. It's information for you to have and something that will help to reinforce your habits every single day. It takes literally a minute to fill out. You could start your day, you could end your day with this, and it will help give you a clear indicator as to where you're at every single day. If they're low, aim to get them high. If they're high, aim to keep them there. Good. So, sleep. This has a lot to do with journaling again. Take the time. Record how your sleep has been going. Inside that 10 to 15 minute daily journaling, write if your sleep was restful. Write if you had a dream. Does anybody keep track of their dreams? I want to, because I want to write a novel, because I think it would be the most trippiest novel anyone has ever read in their life. It'd be like if Salvador Dali, and everybody knows Salvador Dali is, if Salvador Dali wrote a novel instead of being a painter, that's what my novel would be like. It is wild. Record that stuff. It helps. Understand how your sleep helps and how you can benefit from better sleep and how you can not benefit from less than restful sleep each night. We don't necessarily talk about it. We've gone through wearables like Fitbit, like Whoop. You don't need a wearable to tell you if you got good or bad sleep. You can take this, throw it away, pay me $30 a month more than what you pay for your membership, and I will tell you you did not sleep very well, that you are tired. Because guess what? We're all tired. But it does help. Again, it can be a tool to show you hours of recovery, hours of REM sleep, hours of tossing and turning, and depending on all of that, whether or not what you're doing is working. Sleep is a good indicator as to whether or not what we do in here with our nutrition outside support system is actually working. So use that information. Again, back to the support system. You can add some of this to your journaling as well. This is all basically self-assessment tools for the most part. You can write about to yourself how your support system has helped you, how you've helped someone else by being their support system. Give feedback, receive feedback from an accountability partner, a battle buddy, your coach, anything. Use that as a tool as well, because it will help. Exercise, you already know how to track that. It's inside the gym using Wodify. If you don't enter your scores, start doing it. It's not for the benefit of everybody else. It's not to see, ooh, I beat Cam today. Shit, Cam beat me. Yes, it's part of it, but more so it's for you. It's so you can see a path of your fitness with regards to what you do inside the gym. Start tracking if you don't already. And then lifestyle, again, finding ways for self-care activities. Journaling can be one way, massage therapy, going for walks, anything with regards to whatever your goals are, the habits we decide to help you build, start factoring that into your day, into your weekly routines as well. I put this down as optional assessment tools just because it's not appropriate for everybody. But things like weekly progress photos. Some people are okay and comfortable with themselves without their clothes on. Now, I don't mean completely naked, because someone's got to take that photo also, and your coach can do that. And funny story, a long time ago when we had a nutrition challenge, we had a member who decided that I want my progress photos and stripped butt naked right back there in front of other people and demanded we take a picture of her. She's no longer a member. We don't encourage that. But if you're comfortable with your partner, with your husband, wife, with a friend, take progress photos. Set it up so you can take it yourself. It's just, again, a tool, a visual tool. We're not necessarily going to talk about weighing yourself. It is also a tool, but the psychological effects that a scale can have can trump all the other work you do inside of this. So it's not necessarily the first end-all, be-all tool that we'll use. Another optional tool is body measurements. Similar to a camera, similar to a scale, Having someone measure you can be a difficult position to put yourself in. So only go through that if you're comfortable with yourself, regardless of where you're at, to have someone help you get that input, okay? Ideally better than doing it yourself, just because it's better to have someone else help you with that. And so it just helps. These assessment tools will help with participants to monitor their progress and make adjustments as needed throughout the challenge metrics. Use that data that you're going to get from that. So with regards to the habits that we're going to give you, we're going to have you heard this acronym?
We have it at work.
I know. It's really kitschy. Is kitschy the right word? I think so, to describe this. But it's real. It's 100% accurate. I could have a goal coming in and saying, Dawn, I want to run a marathon in an hour. I want you to coach me to do that. Well, I would say, great. Is that specific? Yes. Is it measurable? It can be. Is it achievable? No. Is it realistic? Absolutely not. Is it timely? Nope. You can't live long enough to get your physical health high enough to run a marathon in 1 hour. It's impossible. Even though it's a stupid acronym, it's very to the point as to what it means to have real, actionable goals inside the habits that we create. So,
This didn't make this one make sense, but my work, that's why
yeah, Paul's heard this, but the S stands for specific. Clearly define your goals. It's not, I want to get fit. Well, what does that mean? We all want to get fit. What's your measuring stick that you're using for that? Instead, come at it with, I want to run a 5K in 3 months. That's a smart goal. Measurable. Ensure you can track your progress. Instead of saying, I want to run more, what does that mean? Again, what does that mean? That's not measurable. Instead, I want to run 3 times a week, increasing my distance by half a mile each week. That's a measurable goal to have. Achievable. If you're new to running, a 5K in 3 months can be achievable. A marathon or Ironman triathlon may not be. To train to do an Ironman or a triathlon, regardless of the length, in 3 months because I don't know how to swim. Not going to be achievable. Realistic, make sure your goals fit into your life and aligns with your priorities. And make sure you have time to do and focus on this regularly. I want to run my first Ironman triathlon in 6 weeks, but I don't know how to swim. That's not realistic. So our goals need to be realistic. Timely, set a deadline. Aim to run your first 5K in 3 months, not 3 weeks. Probably can do it in 3 weeks, but it's going to hurt and you're not going to want to do it again and try to get better. So keep it timely. But more importantly, by applying the SMART criteria, you can turn your vague ambitions into actionable plans, making it easier to stay focused and motivated. You don't defeat yourself by setting up unrealistic goals. You set yourself a goal saying, I'm going to eat nothing but vegetables for 6 months. And then day 2, you realize that that's an unrealistic goal and we need to have other nutrients inside of our diet, and then you feel like you have failed. We don't want you to fail. Nutrition. We're going to dive into what we mean when we talk about nutrition and our 6 key principles that we'll be focusing on during the challenge. Principle 1, more whole foods into your diet. We have a handout. Chas went to go print it because our printer died. So it's a super informative. She might be back. Did she just pull in? Nope. And if someone comes in and works out, that's totally fine. I have a 10-page chock full of information handout with regards to the zone diet. And it's fantastic. I want you guys to take it home. You don't have to study it. You don't have to memorize it. Again, it's a tool, but it's one that will help with regards to nutrition, and it gives you a step-by-step process on how to incorporate whole foods into your diet in a manageable way. And it's not necessarily all about weighing and measuring, but I will tell you that if you are serious about about all of your health and wellness goals, at some point you will need to weigh and measure your food. It doesn't have to happen in order to have a long, healthy life, though. It does not. But if you do want to get specific with a goal, say, I want to be down to less than 10% body fat. I want to increase my deadlift, my back squat, and my bench press. I want to be able to run and feel strong when I do it. In order to get the nutrition centered into what you need it to be to hit those smart goals, at some point you're going to have to turn food into fuel, and we need to fuel properly to hit those goals. But again, not necessary to live a happy, healthy, long life. And then everybody's heard the tip when we talk about nutrition and adding whole foods to your diet, shop the perimeter of the grocery store, not the aisles. The aisles is where all the kids' food is, or the junk food is. On the perimeter is basically where all the food that we should be eating. And this is not paleo, but paleo holds to the concept that if it's wrapped in plastic, it's not whole food, it's processed. You want your food to come not wrapped in plastic. But again, that's not, look, this is wrapped in plastic. This is not bad food, although it might be GMO and completely riddled with antibiotics or whatever the hell else they pump into food these days. But it's better than going and getting applesauce in a tube that you squeeze into your mouth. Okay?
One little moniker I heard is if it has a nutrition label with more than 3 ingredients,
it's not food.
Yeah, it's not food.
It's a product. Yeah, absolutely. If it says with food-like products inside of it, it is not food. But we all know what real food is. And we'll get there in just a second. Principle 2. Focus on balanced proteins, carbs, and fats. I'm going to give you guys a handout again, the Zone Diet. It's going to have a list of all kinds of proteins, carbs, healthy fats, measuring based on you, your body composition, your sex. It's going to just compile everything that you'll need to know. Basically, it's also a shopping list. It's fantastic. It'll even have, I want to say 10 sample meal days worth of meals, block meals, just to give you a really quick example of what to expect with that. Study the Zone Diet handout and fuel your efforts accordingly to your goals. Don't fuel your efforts based on what you think. No matter how much I try, I am a small to average size male. I am not a large male. I am not Nate. I am not Cam. No matter how much I try, I will not be that. So if I think that, and with an unrealistic expectation of myself or view of myself, and I hit my macro goals according to Cam and Nate, I will set myself up for failure because it's not appropriate to me, my size, and my goals. So make sure we're being honest with that when we do. And I'm going to skip the rest of that one because we don't have the handout. But we'll go into a little bit of it here. Zone Diet. Actually, I can't. We're going to move on again because I don't have the handout. Slide 10. This is what I wanted to talk about really quick. Volume, non-starchy carbs. What this means, these are carbohydrate-based vegetables or foods that you can basically just eat till your heart's content because they are non-starchy carbohydrates. They call them volume carbs because you can eat to help you with your hunger. You can grab tomatoes and eat them like apples, zucchinis. There's more water inside of these carbs than there are starches, which is great for filler, starving days where you just want to grab a snack. I hate celery. Chauncey loves celery because it's crunchy. I love carrots as a snack because they're crunchy. I thrive on crunch because I grew up on chips and cereal. It's a problem I have. This is a really good snapshot of some of those vegetables that you can. Rhubarb. Who's going to eat rhubarb? Anyways. Yeah, I do like rhubarb pie, but rhubarb pie is not rhubarb. Healthy fats. I will tell you, healthy fats are the secret to eating well and enjoying your food. Because not only does it give you healthy fats that your brain needs to grow, get smarter, sustain, and stave off aging, dementia, right? But it also adds flavor to the vegetables and meats that you do eat. when you eat whole foods. Things like olive oil. Olive oil, we cook with olive oil all the time, and it is fantastic. Now, obviously, you're not going to go and pour a cup of healthy fats on your Brussels sprouts because you hate Brussels sprouts. Moderation, especially when it comes to healthy fats, is going to help you succeed. I was trying to look. Chia seeds. I love chia seeds. You know why I love chia seeds? This is funny. I think it's funny. I love chia seeds because you'll eat them and you can dig them out of your teeth for 3 hours after you eat them, and then you get to chew on them again. I love chia seeds. I swear to God, I love chia seeds only for that reason. Anyways, little ins. Yeah, but it's so satisfying finding them, and you're like, oh yeah, oh I get to bite them again. I love it. But no, find healthy fats that you can add to your diet. Peanuts, holy cow. But peanuts are one of those that you can, well, it's healthy. It's good fats. I'm going to eat 14 cups of peanuts today. Not a good idea. That's where weighing and measuring your food comes into play. Here you go, Nate. Principle number 3, the plate method. This is one of the easiest, if we are not weighing and measuring our foods, the easiest way to find out if we're eating an appropriate amount of food. Gabe, in the Philippines, so think dinner plate size. How big was a dinner plate at home when you and your family would eat dinner? It's like this big, right? The majority of the world's dinner plate is the size of our like salad plate. We here in the U, because we're America and we do things better than everybody else, we go bigger. And our dinner plate is the normal serving platter size in the rest of the world. So again, plate method, but take it with a grain of salt. Half the plate of non-starchy vegetables. So we're, in essence, dividing it into quarters, but thirds for this. Half of that plate is starchy vegetables. Quarter of that plate is proteins. Quarter of the plate is carbohydrates. And then healthy fats, think of the oil that we use to cook, about that thumb size of the oil for those foods, okay? The water, everybody always has a question of water and how much water we should drink. With regards to the plate method, it doesn't really have anything to do with water, but what I put in there is water or 0-calorie drink because it's less filler and you're leaving all that caloric intake for the food that you want to fuel your efforts. So the water, a general rule of thumb, and there's different thumb sizes out there, but think of it as 2/3 your body weight in ounces of water a day. So if I did mine, it would be about, I think it came out to 133 ounces of water a day for me. Now there's also schools of thought out there that says you have to drink ounce per pound of water depending on your activity level. And then there's schools of thought that says if you drink that much water, you also have to be putting in electrolytes because all you're doing is flushing out. But if we're eating whole foods, we're getting those nutrients, those electrolyte, those salt, and those really good nutrients that we're not flushing out all of it. But because we are all physically active outside of just normal, regular, everyday life, it's good to have a supplement or not supplement, an electrolyte additive to that water. We use Element. This last week, everybody knows who Jocko Willink is. Jocko Fuel, we had a bunch of his hydration packs. They're fantastic. It's not loaded with caffeine. It's not a pre-workout. It's literally just electrolytes, and it actually mixed well and tastes good. So with regards to the plate method, if we're not weighing and measuring our food, this is a good basic way to understand. If I'm usually having my carbs, which is rice, which is the whole plate, and then I put chicken on top, it's a good idea to maybe start thinking about using this plate method and say a third or a quarter of that plate should be rice, half of the plate should be the vegetables, and the other quarter of that plate should be the protein. Okay? Good rule of thumb there. Principle 4, I call this the Great American Pantry Cleanout. I mean, this isn't a really good representation. It's just a pantry picture I found. But you'll see stuff in there, Nutella, you'll see Jif peanut butter, which peanut butter isn't necessarily bad. You'll see Nutri-Grain cereal bars, it's literally just sugar and pectin. It's terrible. There's no fruit in it. That's one of the packages that'll say like fruit. I can't even remember the wording, but it's basically telling you it's pretend food. Fruit substitutives or something, whatever it says. Yeah, fruit flavoring, fruit like food flavor, something. But in order to succeed in any nutrition plan, one thing that we should be doing is getting rid of a lot of the temptation that we have that's all around us, starting inside of our pantry. We are not guilty of that. You should, I'm going to throw her under the bus. You should, especially since she's not here. You should see Chausey's candy pile. But I will give her credit. She's like, what are the animals that go around and steal like gold and like they steal shiny objects? Chausey's like a leprechaun.
Yeah.
She collects candy. She never eats it. Never eats it. She collects it. She doesn't eat it. Me, on the other hand, I collect chocolate and I eat the shit out of it. But I try to do my best on eating good chocolate. I try to eat high percentage dark chocolate. Anything, I believe it's, let me know if you know this. I believe it's anything 72% or higher. The sugar content is lower and the cocoa content is higher. So it's less sugar. And the higher you get, it's actually minimal, no sugar. So I eat 98% dark chocolate and it's almost like baker's chocolate. I love dark chocolate. That is my guilty pleasure. And that's what I have found to help me through eating better is having that guilty pleasure that still doesn't railroad or steamroll my nutrition plans or goals. Dark chocolate is that for me. So every time I go to the grocery store, I grab like all the dark chocolates that I can find that I like. But everybody has things inside their pantry that they can do without. One of the biggest arguments we hear with regards to the Great American Pantry Cleanout is, but my kids eat that. My kids only eat candy. They only eat candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah. Your kids are kids, and you are the adult. That's going to be a common theme from here on out. You are the adult. But in saying that, pick your battles. Use it as not necessarily a form of encouragement or, what am I trying to say? As a tool, reward. Thank you. It's not necessarily good to use it as reward either because then it associates candy and all that with doing good. It's just better to use it during special occasions, holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, stuff like that.
For those of us that have absolutely no self-control whatsoever, there's a principle that
Yeah.
teaches that if it's in your house, you're going to have it.
Yep.
No matter if it's reward or just anything.
Yep.
And I am like that with Sarah's goddamn M&M. Yeah.
So
She can't have peanuts. So yeah, she gets the Costco ones though, and it's downstairs where my office is. Oh my god, I take multiple trips a day.
Yeah.
Handfuls.
So for the benefits of everybody watching, Cam said that for those that don't have self-control, if it's in your house, it will be eaten. No matter if you try to keep it as a special occasion thing or not, it'll get eaten. And then you'll just buy it and redo it and keep doing that, keep going down that cycle. If you have enough self-control to get rid of it, do that. Know yourself. Be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. This next one is super important. Progress over perfection. Again, don't railroad your efforts because you had one day of going down to the office and grabbing a handful of M&Ms. That does not railroad your entire life worth of building healthy habits centered around nutrition and wellness. It just means that you're a human being. And it gives you an opportunity to do better. But don't sacrifice good for perfect. But if you're honest with yourselves and you have goals, make sure you maintain those healthy habits and do your best and get right back on track on the days that you do slip. On the days that you say, I'm going to have a glass of wine, and then you have a bottle of wine. Get right back on the horse the next day. There's no such thing as perfect also. Nobody's perfect. Nutritionists aren't perfect.
The Pareto principle, if you stick to something 80% of the way all the time, 80% of the time, 100% of the time,
Yeah.
then you're going to see results no matter what.
Yeah. Yep. Don't sacrifice good for perfect. Super important. And that goes with everything. That goes with everything we do in here in the gym. Don't sacrifice, well, I don't know how to do, my overhead squats suck, so I'm not going to squat at all. I'm not going to come into the gym because, well, they're doing overhead squats today. So I guess I'm going to stay home and eat those handfuls of M&Ms down in the office because I am not perfect. You'll never be perfect. The coaches in here will never be perfect. Anybody that tells you you are perfect or has learned everything that they can with regards to CrossFit is lying to you. World-class coaches are not perfect either. So just, it's a really good mind frame to get into that we're all human and that's okay. And then again, this goes without saying, focus on one thing at a time. Get your head wrapped around that one thing. Dial it in as best as you can and then move on to the next task. We have to walk before we run, but once we start running, we don't forget how to walk. Focus on that one thing at a time instead of, well, I got my vegetables dialed down. Now I got to do vegetables and protein. Now I got to exercise and journal. Shit. Focus on just one thing at a time. Build up those habits one by one, and they'll last a lifetime. And if you ever feel like you're falling backwards, jump back to that, Paul's favorite acronym, SMART, and keep everything you do specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. This is my bread and butter. We can plan practice, try to perfect all we want, but if we have self-doubt or just simply don't think we can do something, we will fail. Really quick, fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. Growth mindset, mistakes help me learn. Feedback is valuable. Is this my best work? Question mark. That font didn't let me put in a question mark. I improve with practice, and I won't give up. Compared to a fixed mindset, I can't make a mistake. Again, you're just lying to yourself. They don't know anything. Think of when we get feedback. Think as coaches when we have evals of our classes and you're sitting there and you can think to yourself, they don't know what they're talking about. I ran a perfect class. There's no such thing as a perfect class, but also every piece of feedback can be a valuable tool to help you grow and progress as a person in whatever goal you have in mind. This is the best I can do. Never the best. There's never a best. You can always grow to get better. This is good enough. That's just defeatist and giving up on yourself, let alone your goals. That should never be the goal. And then, boom, I give up. If it matters to you, make it a priority. Otherwise, adjust and get back to those realistic goals and achievable habits. Really quick, the definition of mindset. Does anybody know the definition of mindset? Get ready to write this shit down. This is going to blow your, oh man, this is going to blow your minds. You ready, Nate? Gabe's ready. Everybody else doesn't care. No, that's fine. No, Elizabeth, no, it's fine. Definition of mindset. The story we tell ourselves about ourselves. That's it. That's all it is. It's the story inside your head that you tell yourself about yourself. I can't do that. They're better than me. I'm worthless. All of that is mindset. Change that voice inside your head and you can change your mindset with anything that you face in life, not just nutrition or exercise or health. Mindset to-do list. During your time in the challenge, we'll ask you to do a few things centered around mindset. They are 10 minutes of journaling a day. That might turn into 10, 12, 15, might turn into 30. Whatever it needs to be, do it. It'll help. Daily, I don't have my glasses on. Daily positive affirmations. Again, not Stuart Smalley. Something real, something that pertains to you, something that matters to you. Mindset questionnaire, what we gave. Fill that out. Take notes. Put it in. Have a journal in your journal. Write down your score every single day. It'll help. And then we'll use that at the end to plot your graph on your mindset during that 6 weeks. End of day reflections, again, part of that original 10 minutes of journaling. Find something to reflect on every single day. Could be anything as simple as, I did not quit today. I went to the gym. Whatever that is, find something to reflect upon. And then eliminate the soft talk. Ooh, this is my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing in the whole entire world. Eliminate the soft talk. So, really quick, I know you guys don't have scratch paper. Write it down where you can on that paper you have. I want you to write down these 16 words, okay? Possibly. Perhaps. Oh, I think. Nope. Feels like. I guess. Maybe. Could. Might. I had a word in here twice. It's funny. Sort of. Kind of. Potentially. Hopefully. Try. One day. Should. Almost, as in almost done. And my favorite one, can't. We're going to work to eliminate all of those words from your vocabulary during the 6-week challenge. Getting rid of those words, and there's a couple more, but these are the most prevalent. Getting rid of those words will only help with everything you decide to do because it helps to improve your mindset. It creates room for those positive affirmations, real positive affirmations, not the Stuart Smalley kind. So remember those words. We had them on a piece of paper stuck on you were here for the mindset.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
I got my little thing.
Put it on your mirror in your bathroom and look at those words every single day and do everything you can to to remove them from your vocabulary. Feels like because it needs, when we're thinking about something that feels like, just get rid of that and say it's good, bad, indifferent. Be concrete in the words that you use. Basically, is all of these they're called soft talk because they are loose, flimsy little words. Get rid of it. It doesn't feel like anything because it is that thing. Get into understanding that good feelings or bad feelings, they might feel like good or bad, when in reality they are either good or bad. Be okay with having those feelings and don't limit yourself by softening the word that you're trying to understand. Don't soften by using these words to try to understand the feelings that you do have, whether they're good or bad. One of the reasons why I love can't so much is because everybody tells themselves, I can't do that. I can't do that. Instead, find what you can do. And if it is eventually getting a muscle up on the rings, I'm unable to do that now, but I'm going to work my ass off to get there. That's not necessarily 100% effective. It might not work. Is might in there? Should be. Yep, it is. It might not work. But you can find something that will work and that will work for you. Sleep. 5 health benefits of sleep: getting sick less often, stay at a healthy weight, lower your risk for serious health problems like diabetes and heart disease, reduce stress, improve your mood, get along better with people, and think more clearly, form long-term memories, and do better in school and at work. Sleep helps everything, literally helps everything. Find ways to improve your sleep. And a couple facts here. They came from the Mayo Clinic. I don't have the site. Thank you, Chas. In 2020, 35% of United States adults reported insufficient sleep duration, less than 7 hours for those aged 18 or older, on average during a 24-hour period. Insufficient sleep duration is associated with an increased risk of number of chronic conditions such as obesity, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, stroke, anxiety, and depression. Sleep will keep you alive. Increase your sleep. Keeping a consistent sleep schedule, establishing a relaxing bedtime routine will only help during this challenge. These are a couple. This is just pulled off the internet. It's a cute graphic. It highlights some things to help with regards to a sleep routine. I'll talk about what Chas and I do. And to be completely transparent, and Chas will be the first one to tell you, we fail at this often. We're not perfect. And if we tell you we are, we're lying to you. What we do, and what I would suggest everybody trying to do, is keep a cold temperature inside your house when it is time to sleep. You might be cold, but guess what? You sleep a lot better cold than you do hot and sweating. Obviously, there's other types of circumstances. I'm going to point at her because she is my wife and I love her very much, but she is premenopausal. And so it doesn't matter how cold the house is, she will sweat. She will sweat. But she'll be the first one to talk to you about those difficulties that she has as well. And everything we're going to talk about here really quick are things that are hopefully counteracting some of those natural things that she's dealing with that women unfortunately have to deal with when they get to a certain age. 65 to 69 degrees. Right now I say 69 because 69 feels like 50 degrees because it's been so hot. But we keep it generally between 65 and 69 in the house. You can always add blankets, okay? You'll sleep better, more soothing, more longer if you have it cold in the house. Comfortable sheets. We bought our sheets through Costco. It's like sliding into heavy whipping cream. They're not even like Egyptian cotton. We can't figure out what brand it is or else we would buy it again. But it's like literally just sliding into cream. Fantastic. Comfortable mattress and pillows. Ours is a purple mattress. It works well for us. I have a purple pillow. I love it. She hates hers. Fantastic. It is the best pillow I've ever had in my life. And she knows that I have searched over the hills for a good pillow. So I found one. Find one that works for you. Sleep supplements. We use First Form magnesium. You don't have to use First Form. We're not sponsored by First Form. You can use whatever you want. But we started doing it because we wanted to limit caffeine before bedtime because we would drink coffee at 9:30 at night and go to bed at 9:45. We still do that. I'm not saying we don't do it. We still do it. But I wanted to limit it because I wanted to see if it would help with more restful sleep, and it has. So we use magnesium, which is a natural sleep supplement, and it is fantastic. I would recommend it to anybody. It's like hot chocolate. It's like a cup of hot chocolate. Phenomenal. And I add a little bit of heavy whipping cream just for consistency to make it a little thicker. That's my, just so you guys know, that is my healthy fat. You might think it's not, but guess what? You like milk, it has sugar in it. Because the American diet requires sugar for Americans to eat food. And they add milk to sugar, or I'm sorry, sugar to milk, not all, but a lot, so kids will eat it with their cereal. Tell me how that makes sense. Heavy whipping cream has no sugar, just fat and lactose. So I use heavy whipping cream a lot. If I have cereal, I'll use heavy whipping cream and dilute it with water. And it's amazing. Limit screen time or work. This is where we fail. We'll work sometimes right up until we go to bed. And we cannot, you should not, you will not do that if you are serious about your health and wellness. Stop with at least a half hour before you go to bed so you can rest your eyes, rest your brain, and relax a little bit. 7 hours of sleep each, 7+ hours of sleep each night. That's a huge one. Try to maximize your sleep as best as you can. Again, we'll talk about healthy habits and sleep routines inside the 6-week challenge and try to help you find yours. A way to track it, journal about it. We talked about it earlier. Do it. Write down if it went well, if it didn't, how many times you woke up and took a pee in the middle of the night. All that stuff will help you to realize how much actual sleep you're getting. And then add your sleep routine to part of your daily journaling. Support system. Support system can be anybody, family, friends. It can be gym friends. It can be your coach. It can be anything that feeds your goals. I didn't mean to separate friends and gym friends. That doesn't need to be separated. But you do have friends outside of the gym. Use them. Help them along their process too. Anything, back to this, anything that helps your goal can be a support system. Find whatever works for you, okay? Challenge, support, and engagement. Finish the weekly goals. Fill out the self-assessment review form weekly. Ask for help from the coaches and lean on them. And then check in on your friends, check in on your friends, check in on your friends. Sometimes people aren't going to ask for help. Ask them if they need help. You sometimes would appreciate having someone ask you for help. It's hard to ask for help. Be that help support system for someone else. Lifestyle, really quick. This just builds into habits. Change your habits, change your life. That's what this whole program is about. Finding healthy habits to help change your life for the better, not the worse. And then celebrating the non-scale victories. Again, we talk a lot about not relying on the scale. It's a tool. It can be used. It can be appropriate. But for some, it's just defeating. So find other ways to manage or other ways to find and celebrate victories, like a better mood, increased energy. These are things you're going to feel, and that's huge. Increased confidence, better sleep, decreased inches, or even more in depth, how your clothes fit. That's a great way to judge how well you're holding to your nutrition challenge and your goals. Improved health, think biomarkers, think blood tests, getting draws, getting physicals and all that, and talking to your doctor about where you started and where you're ending. And then improved relationships. The friends that you have in the gym, out of the gym, family members, all of that. All of those relationships can only improve if you are healthy, happier, and moving forward in life. Ask me how I know. Exercise, we're not going to touch too much on this because you guys are here for a reason, but keep doing it. 7 benefits of regular exercise. Exercise can control weight. Exercise combats chronic disease. There's actually studies coming out now that every single form of cancer can be combated with exercise and nutrition. Almost every single form of cancer. Which tells you that, and I don't need to tell some people this, that when you feel hopeless, at the very least, there's things that we can do to help, to try and live as healthy and as long as possible. And do our best to do that. Exercise is a mood booster. I don't need to tell any of you that. You all know that. Boosts energy. You know that as well. You might feel like you are in energy depletion sometimes here, but every time you leave, you feel reinvigorated, regenerated. Exercise promotes better sleep. It also promotes or brings back the spark into your sex life. It can do that if that's something that's important to you. It's a real thing. The old school slogan of CrossFit was to look better naked. Guess what happens when you look better naked? You feel confident. Guess what happens when that happens? You have a better sex life. And it can be fun. It's all dependent on how you view fun. Nutrition, frequently asked questions. Do I have to weigh or log my food? The answer is no. You don't. You do not have to. But if you are serious about your goals, you should be. Are there foods that I can and can't have? Spoiler alert, you're an adult. You know what you should and should not be eating. If you need me or EJ or any other coach in here to tell you that, you have other problems, not that you don't know what to eat. We're all adults. We know what we should. McDonald's, no. Fast food in general, no. Do we do it? Yes. Alcohol? No, or limited. Cigarettes, tobacco? No. There's no benefit of tobacco. Don't do it. Drugs? No. Limited. Obviously, there's some drugs that aren't as debilitating as alcohol. So if one is limited, the other should be limited as well. Don't do heroin.
Oh, man.
Don't do meth.
I've already lost, man.
I don't care how natural mushrooms are. Guess what? So is heroin. It all came from the earth. It's all natural. It just took some mad scientists to turn it into heroin. Don't do mushrooms. Doesn't matter where we live. It's not a good idea. You don't need it. Are there any snack bars that I can have? Yes. Barbell bars that we sell here are a fantastic protein bar. I love Perfect bars. Are they the best bar? No. But it could be viewed as a, not Perfect bar. Some of these bars could be viewed as a meal replacement. Don't go into this challenge thinking that we need to replace meals with drinks or bars. That's not conducive with creating healthy habits. It's not sustainable. We want to increase the whole foods we eat. These can just be an added snack during that time, okay? Use them accordingly. I don't love veggies. What do I do? Again, the moral of the story, you're an adult. Grow up. That's it. Enough said. Grow up. Olive oil and bacon fat. Olive oil, bacon fat. Oh my gosh. Phenomenal. It will make any vegetable you think you don't like taste delicious. Grow up. Love vegetables. And I say that partially because I hated vegetables. I hated Brussels sprouts. Have I tried them before? No. But I knew I hated them. Guess who got me to try them? Chauncey. I frickin' love them. They're so good. Can I still eat my favorite foods? Huh?
You can air fry anything.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting close to the end here. Can I eat my favorite foods? Again, the answer is yes. You are an adult. You can do whatever the hell you want. Limit, moderation. Use it for special occasions again, holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, date night. Whatever that is for you, use it in moderation, but then know that we need to plan the day before, the day after, and figure out what we need to do to get back on track with the goals that we have. What happens after the challenge? You'll meet with your coaches. We'll talk. There's all kinds of ongoing coaching that we can talk through, accountability coaching, all different types of coaching that is pertainable to your specific goals. There's not a one-size-fits-all for anybody. And same thing with after challenge coaching. Questions?
What's the best healthy fast food?
That's actually a really good question.
Chipotle,
Chipotle. I forgot. I have visual aids. I want you guys to see a little, some of you have seen this picture, but I want you to see a little bit of who I used to be before I found all this, before I found Chauncey, okay? So here, you get this one. Yeah, and then you get this one, and you get to share it and spread it down through the class.
When I got married the first time and stopped exercising and just started eating like shit,
Yeah.
like a couple years into it, same thing.
Yeah.
I look back on that and I'm like, what the hell happened back then?
So I'll tell you, there's a reason why that's an identification card and not a license. Does anybody want to guess why? No, because I went to jail. I got arrested for a DUI because I was a piece of shit. I was a drunk. I was an addict. I was a drug addict. They took my license because I got a DUI. Fun fact for everybody who hasn't had a DUI, you go to two courts. You go to criminal court and you go to DMV court. At DMV court, they take your license and then they punch a hole in it, so it's invalid. You know, if you have a license, even if the old school license where it had the film on it, if that peeled, legally it's invalid. So the judge punches a hole through it, invalid. You can't use it to drive, can't use it to buy alcohol, cigarettes, anything. So I went because even though I went to jail, lost everything, I'm like, fuck that. I need an ID card so I can go to the bar. So I went, and they're not supposed to give you an ID card either. But I went to the DMV, and I got my ID card before it hit the system. And then I got that, and I can't remember what happened. An OLCC officer at a bar asked why I had an identification card and not a driver's license, and I told him why. So that's why there's a hole in it, because he took his pen and stabbed it and turned it until a hole went into it, which invalidated my identification card. So I couldn't use it to go to the bar, couldn't use it to buy cigarettes or anything. Fun fact. So that is why that's an identification card. All that to say that we all have our pasts and we all have our histories and our stories to tell. We learn from that when we don't let that define who we are. Use that past and use that story to help progress yourself forward into the person, or to help develop the habits that you want moving forward for the rest of your life. The habits that you can create in this 6-week challenge, they might not last forever, but they can if they matter to you. So use that motivation of who you are, where you came from, where you want to go, as motivation to carry you through these 6 weeks and then on throughout the rest of your life. So if there's no questions. So I'm glad you asked. So the challenge, it's $160. It's 6 weeks, and you can go, I don't have my phone on me because it's recording, but you can go, Joss, can you answer that really quick?
So you can go onto your app, your Wi-Fi app, as long as the boys have put their schedule in.
Mhm.
I don't know where it's in my pocket. There's where my phone is.
Here, can we stay here?
What?
Stay by here.
Oh. If you go on your app, and then you go to the bottom where it says buy. I have to get on the other one. If you're on the home page, and then at the very bottom it says buy, and then down at the very top it says 6-week nutrition challenge. Yeah. And then if you click on that, then it gives you all the information on there, and then it says purchase online.
And that'll take you to our website to buy the challenge. And it starts September 2nd, and it goes through October 12th. Thank you.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
will
yeah, yeah,
put
yeah.
you in here. So when you click on this button here and you go through it, and it will have the start date on here.
What will happen is we'll set up our initial consult, we'll set up our goal setting session, and then you'll have 2 more sessions on top of that, a mid-challenge check-in and then an end-challenge check-out. So basically we'll monitor, we'll give you the tools on the first part, depending on your goals. We'll do a mid-challenge check-in and see where you're at and how things are going, and you'll have access to us throughout the whole entire thing. But these are going to be specific appointments that we hold. And then we'll have a end of challenge meeting, and then we'll talk about ongoing coaching or where you're at and how you feel and what you want to do moving forward. It could be this 6-week challenge is a great restart or refresh before the holiday season to get those habits in place to take us through the holidays. And that could be the end of what you need moving forward. It could be, this is a great time to do it before the holidays, and then after the holidays, let's get into ongoing accountability coaching, and then we'll have that conversation too. Yeah, EJ and I are going to be doing it this time. Yeah, so for as much as he won't be available, I will be available. So yeah. Will they be in-person meetings? Yes, they will be in, well, yes and no. It depends on your availability. They can be in-person meetings, but if it comes down to I just have a scheduling conflict and I can't make it in for the first meeting, we can do it on Zoom. But I prefer it to be in-person meetings 100% all the time. But we can go through the process and get the information to you virtually as well. Yep. I would like all of them to be in-person meetings. It means more to sit down and have that face-to-face conversation instead of on a 2-dimensional screen.
Is there any specific tracking system that you use, or is it all going to be based on journaling?
It's going to be based on the journaling. We are developing our app, but it's not developed right now. We don't need it for what we're going to do. I know the last challenge we had our app and it worked great. Like everything else we use in the challenge, it's a tool. It's just a tool. We don't need it to succeed. And if we don't have it, that doesn't mean we're going to fail. It's more about staying accountable to yourself and to your coach or to your support system and finding ways that tracking works for you, and will help develop that, and will help find ways that you can get those tracked results or metrics to your coach so we can keep you accountable along the way. Yeah. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Yep, yep. And yes, we will be doing a Facebook group because I think that's a really good way of keeping everybody together inside the challenge. It's a great place to, let me close this. It's a great place to find a support system, to just support each other. You don't have to pick a battle buddy. You can be everybody's support system, or you can get support from everybody inside that Facebook group page. It's just a great place to, we'll bounce ideas there. You guys can share recipes that you like. You can share sleep routine that works for you, supplements that you found that help you. You might not like First Form Magnesium like Chas and I do. You might like CBD gummies. I don't think that's a good idea, but Beam, yeah, Beam. So I will tell you really quick, I know we're almost done here, but really quick, Chas and I have gone through a couple different sleep supplements. And the reason why we landed on First Form Magnesium is because it's hard to find a supplement that does not have CBD inside of it. Now, I also am intelligent enough to know that CBD is not THC. But guess what? As an addict, as someone that's going through constant recovery, I don't want the temptation. It's the same reason why I don't drink near beer, okay? Because as soon as it hits my lips, guess what? I won't see her for 48 hours and I'll come back with a black eye and blood all over my shirt, because that's who I am. I don't bring temptation into my life like that, so we searched long and hard for a sleep routine that worked, and that's why we landed on First Form, because it's, yeah. Chelsea likes drugs. She tries all the drugs, yeah.
I guess the First Form Magnesium one just worked better for me.
Yeah.
It kept me asleep longer. It's magnesium. Yeah, it's a powder. It's literally a chocolate
Yeah.
powder.
Yeah, well, it can be chocolate. They have other flavors too.
Flavors that I've heard are really good. We have our friend Mitch that came here, some of you met. He has like, it's a fruity one.
It's like a citrus mango or something.
Citrus one, but at night he has it with sparkling water. Puts it in there.
He calls it his nighttime mocktail. He'll put like a little basil. Is basil what you put in cocktails? Yeah. Or mint, yeah. Well, one time I said parsley and someone's like, ew. And I'm like, I don't know. I drink whiskey. I didn't fruit my whiskey. I don't know what you guys drink anymore.
You're not doing whiskey right there.
No. Any other questions? Any other questions at all? Remember, there's no stupid questions, Gabe. Only stupid people. I stifled him. Yeah. Yeah. You kind of are, or you are. Okay, thank you.
And so, if I do take this, is this beneficial? I would take it more so to learn more about myself and how I can program it like for other people.
I will say, so your question was, if you take this, will this make you a nutritionist? No, it will not. And it doesn't even make me a nutritionist. This should not be, because it's developed and designed for you specifically, you can take principle. You can take anything we do in here and take the principles and teach someone else. You can teach someone how to do CrossFit, right? But what you should take out of this is something that pertains to you and help you progress yourself without worrying about, okay, I can do this, but I'm going to worry, now I got 6 other people, I can do this for them, and not really give it the justice that you need it for yourself. After the 6 weeks, Then we can talk about what you could do. I mean, this should not be educational for you studying nutrition. No. This should be for you on a, what's the hot topic word? Anecdotal for you here and now. Does that make sense? Okay. But it's still good information to have and share with family and friends for sure.
Are all the coaches like nutrition?
No, Cam is. Chos is not. No one else is. No one else is.
So is there we can talk to Cam in the morning? Can we talk?
You can. I would like you to keep it to EJ and I for the sole purpose of this until we get. Cam doesn't know this. Yeah, he's about to find out. What we're developing is a internship for the nutrition program as well. So, in order to become a nutrition coach, it doesn't matter if you have a certification. It doesn't even matter if you're a nutritionist, which is a way more than a certification. That's a big time thing. Doesn't matter. That doesn't make you a nutrition coach. Just like if you were to come in here and have your L1, that doesn't make you a coach. Even if you came in here and you were a medical doctor for kinesiology. Yeah.
That's one way to pronounce it.
Yeah. That does not make you a CrossFit coach, right? There's certain things and parameters that we have to make sure that you meet and exceed in order to be one of those coaches. Cam gets to be our first intern going through our nutrition internship. He absolutely has, and that's why he's going to go through it to be one of the nutrition coaches. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But what he's going to do moving forward until he's a nutrition coach is to pass it back to EJ and I. But very much so, just like every other coach we have in here, if I'm coaching in class, but you go to 5:30 and it's not my 5:30 class, you can absolutely ask the coach. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Yep, 100%. Yep.
I'll be very involved in the Facebook.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. That's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
also,
like.
I am successful in part because of EJ, because I've gone through a couple
Yep.
of things with him. So. Oh yeah. I learned that last week. I didn't know anyone actually listened to that. I really didn't.
Well, you go on and there's views.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know he posted them, to be honest.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Which is why the scale, don't listen to the scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, oh my gosh. Before you guys leave.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Here, will you hand these out? This. The zone diet. This is one reason why the scale isn't necessarily honest or accurate. It will tell you a weight. What it doesn't tell you is muscle mass. It doesn't tell you lean body mass. It doesn't tell you how much your bones weigh. It doesn't tell you how much liquid you have inside of you. This zone diet, again, is what CrossFit recommends. It gives you exactly the building blocks to help you based on your metrics, based on your sex, based on your size, how much protein, carbs, and fats you should be eating depending on your goals. If you are a hard gainer, who could I think of that's a hard gainer? Robert? No, not Galen. Hard gainers. Paul, you might be a hard gainer. No? Usually it's slender. Usually it's runners. Usually it's very active. Grayson. They are the ones that tell you, I eat and eat and eat and I gain 1 pound. And I eat all day long. They are hard gainers. There is block prescriptions, right? Because CrossFit, we have Metcons that we prescribe. That's why it's RX. There are block prescriptions of meals specifically designed for hard gainers. There's block prescriptions designed for medium-sized females that want to build muscle. There's ways to do that and to plan accordingly. In the back of this, in the middle of this, there is food based on good carbs, good fats, good proteins, sizes and weights. And then at the further back you get, there's examples of 2-block meals, 3-block meals, 4-block meals, 5-block meals, 1-block snacks. And that's dependent on you, where you're at, and your genetic makeup. I will tell you that 1 block, though, is the same for everybody. One block consists of 7 grams of protein, 9 grams of carbs, and 1.5 grams of healthy fats. That equals 1 block. So you can figure out me as a small male. Listen, I can say it without laughing. Can you please? As a small male, I know in order to keep a healthy diet, even though I hate the word diet, I do, healthy amount of food, I need at least 16 blocks throughout the day to meet that. And it'll tell me where and how I should do that. Okay? The floor recognizes Don York.
And it's seconded.
So, the question on the floor is, what happened to keto? I will tell you nothing. Keto is still there. Keto can be something to help you reach whatever specific goal you have. I will tell you, as someone who was keto for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, it's not necessarily a sustainable long-term dieting goal. It's really good for quick results, for changing energy pathways, for resetting your system. Again, I did it for almost 3 years. It's not good for long-term sustainability. What started happening to me, and this is, again, anecdotal, this is me, not you. What ended up happening to me is I started cramping all day, every day long. My esophagus would cramp. I would be able to cramp like my 7th rib and feel my 7th rib. Like I would cramp everywhere in small, weird places. Have you ever had your esophagus cramp? It is the weirdest feeling in the world, but it would cramp all the time. And it's not from keto. It's just because I was so deep into it and I wasn't tracking my electrolytes properly. I was only tracking my fats and my carbs, and I fell off, and it just wasn't sustainable for me. I felt great on it until I didn't. It is hard for a lifestyle. It is unforgiving.
And people, I believe that people that are on keto go to one extreme
Yep.
of heavy meats, fatty meats, cheeses, creams, and they're not having their vegetables,
Yep.
all the stuff that they should be having into having keto. They just go very all in on one thing.
And I would argue, yeah, I would argue one of the biggest reasons why I wasn't able to stay on longer than what I did or keep at it was because I didn't have enough vegetables in my diet. I didn't have the proper amount of vegetables in my diet. I only ate fats and proteins. I had carbs, but it was minimal. We had pea strips. I was tracking my ketones. I was making sure I was in ketosis. It was a lot. It's just not sustainable. It wasn't sustainable for me, is what I should say. Same with the paleo diet. Paleo diet, it sets you up for failure, in my opinion, because it limits the idea of what food is. Again, this is not paleo because it is picked and it is in a plastic bag, but it is an apple. It is not paleo because of that fact.
I had a nutritionist once tell me there's good, better, best. And the best would be the organic with no whatever, but you just have to choose.
Good would be applesauce.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So you just have to make good choices.
Yeah, you. Go ahead.
There's a lot of research nowadays that suggests that the only difference between organic produce and any other produce you get at the store is $5.
Yeah. Yeah, or another way to put it is labeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still use pesticides. They still do a bunch of stuff. I can't remember the actual difference of it, but literally it's just money.
Yep.
Yeah.
They pay.
There's no actual real difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be sorry. But
Don't worry. The Organic Association is not out there. Don't worry.
But again, I am going to post this on YouTube. But again, good, better, best. It's the same thing we do in here with CrossFit. There is something called the sickness wellness, fitness continuum. And the idea of that, really quick, the overarching view is you get from sickness, poor biomarkers, no exercise, fast food, unhealthy, 2 hours of sleep, drinks alcohol, to wellness, which is, okay, I have better biomarkers. I'm exercising 30 minutes every 2 days. I'm drinking water, but still drinking alcohol, but I'm eating more vegetables, but I still eat fast food at work. You're still getting better. And then fitness is, I eat whole foods. I exercise 4 to 5 times a week. I get 8+ hours of sleep. I drink all this water. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I eat well constantly, stress-free. I have a great mood, all of that. The idea behind the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum is the goal is to get to fitness or healthy. You're creating a hedge against sickness because in order to go from fitness back to sickness, you have to get to well. You have to get to okay or better, right? You have to get to that center before you get to sick. So by aiming for here, you're still here and you have to pass back through being well to get back to sickness. The goal is similar in nutrition. Fast food, better food to whole foods. Same thing. That continuum can be placed upon every aspect of your life. It's one of the key parts of CrossFit moving forward with functional fitness is that sickness, wellness, fitness continuum. And it's anyways, we can do another hour and a half seminar just on that. But it's a good point to make, and it's absolutely transferable to food too. Any other questions? Paul.
Wait, so could you ask me a question? There are like certain challenges in the whole thing. What exactly?
So the question is about the certain challenges that we'll have during the 6 weeks. We'll do weekly challenges. Some of those challenges are going to be put up in the Facebook group page, but they'll all be emailed. It's going to be tracking your sleep, how accurate or how well you did it, tracking water intake. One of the habits could be giving up something that you don't want. Think alcohol, think sweets, whatever that is for you. It could be how well you have done that. It could be exercise. Again, we aim for a minimum of 3 days in the gym because we know this is a huge part of living a healthy and long life. 2 days aren't bad. 3 days will get you there faster and more sustainable. So a challenge will be 3 days plus in the gym during the week.
And then whoever hit that will get in the drawing.
Yep. And we'll have prizes during the week too. Yeah, except it's going to be every week. We have a lot of prizes that we got being at the games. So we got some cool game swag. But then there's going to be other meaningful prizes too. So yeah, little mini challenges each week. And we'll convey that in this Facebook page, but some people don't use Facebook and that's totally fine. It'll all be emailed as well. So good question. Cam.
Do you think in-body,
The floor recognizes.
do you think in-body would be a good thing to mention for?
Yeah, I do. So the question was, should we mention in-body scan? So we don't have an in-body scanner here. What an in-body scanner is, think of it as a body composition tester on steroids. We have, I would say EJ has a partnership. Do you know, what's the guy's name at Max Muscle? Jimmy? Yeah. So EJ and Cam have a partnership and a relationship with this guy, Jimmy, with Jimmy from Max Muscle in Clackamas.
Yeah.
Clackamas. They have an in-body scanner there. In the previous challenge, they allowed access for some of the people. And the reason why I say some is because people didn't want it. To get an in-body scan, it'll give you an in-depth printout of exactly where you are at the beginning and then at the end. I forgot to put it in the optional assessment tools because it's just like going and getting pinched. It's just like having someone measure you. It's just like taking progress photos at the beginning, middle, and end. It can be uncomfortable for some people. It does everything. It does everything. And you have someone there that will print it out and go over the readings with you. You don't have to have that though. You can just say, give me it, and I'm going to walk out the door, and they will do that too. They'll allow that to happen. But someone will be there to operate the machine with you. And that's why it's, yeah, and that's why it's optional. Because again, hey, Elizabeth, let's go take your progress photos. Fuck you. From the beginning, from the 6-week challenge a long time ago? Yeah. People don't like that. People aren't ready to be put in that position, and that's okay. All of this can be done without it. I would argue again that if you have serious goals, you will need it to progress. But you can progress without it. You absolutely can, because the way your clothes feel, the vegetables you have started eating, the sweets that you stopped eating, the alcohol you don't drink as much anymore, those are also measurable markers that mean so much more. Not more, so much to you personally. So, good. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to bring it up.
I have never had to pay for it because I buy stuff from Jimmy. If you buy something from him, he's a supplement store, it's Max Muscle. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He'll usually throw it in, especially if you say, hey, I know EJ, I know Cam, I know Grit, I know this. He's a really cool guy. If you do have questions about certain supplements, he is an absolute wealth of knowledge to the microbiome kind of like mechanisms that his supplements use. I recommend them because once again, the scale is not a great way to indicate. The first time I went hardcore with EJ, I lost 3 pounds over the course of 3 months. However, I lost 8% body fat and gained 4 pounds of muscle. And it's good to actually see where everything is coming from. And also, I was able to get my left arm closer to my right arm. They're like a half a pound off from each other. Yeah. Oh, it'll go full bore to all the different portions.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why scales can be detrimental, because you'll work your ass off. You do work your ass off in here, and then you step on a scale, and you have, if Cam had that initial reading, that scale, that weight, but he didn't have the knowledge he has, he wasn't a coach, he wasn't studying for his nutrition certification, not knowing anything, he would have looked at that and thought of, well, that's a failure. I didn't work as hard as I thought I did, or, yep, back to the M&Ms. That's why other markers and other ways, other tools of assessments are just as important as that scale, but the scale is important and relevant. So, good question. Anything else? All right, you guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being a part of it. I thank you for spending your hour and a half with me. And cut.